Hi Charlie, welcome to the 97th day of my video polling experiment where I break down and analyze the LinkedIn poll that I posted last week and it closed this morning. Now, last week's poll was inspired by the fact that Q1 earnings reports, especially for some of the major companies of the S&P 500, are being released in a kind of trickle-down fashion over the next couple of weeks. So, to adhere to this very relevant topic, I asked the poll question, which technology stock would you rather invest in right now? There were four answer choices: Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, and Alphabet, which I clarified was the parent company that owns Google. I decided to include these four stocks instead of those like, for instance, Tesla, because I knew that Tesla had been performing quite shakily over the past few months, and I wanted to make sure that all of these answer choices were basically on equal footing. Of course, they are having some difficulties with the uncertain economic situation, but overall they're considered to have a very solid long-term growth plans that are very sustainable and not necessarily extremely vulnerable to the whims of whatever is going on at the present moment. So anyway, 71 people voted on this poll, which is slightly below my average of about 80 to 85 votes per poll, but that could just be because talking about investments might turn some people off, might scare people a little bit. Maybe people didn't think they knew enough about these particular stocks to make an informed decision when voting on this poll, so I'm still grateful for every single one of those 71 voters. Here's how the distribution ended up breaking down. 38% of these 71 voters said that they would rather invest in Microsoft right now. 20% said they'd rather invest in Amazon, 30% said they'd rather invest in Nvidia, and 13% said they'd rather invest in Alphabet, aka the parent company that owns Google. So clearly it was a fairly varied distribution. None of these answer choices got an absolute majority. There was a lot of variety between all the answer choices, and every answer choice had at least a few proponents, even if it was only 13% of 71 voters. Now onto the statistics about these technology stocks. Nvidia anticipates a $5.5 billion hit from trade war policies. Morningstar lowered its fair value Nvidia rating from $130 to $125. AMD, a semiconductor-related stock, reported an $800 write-down due to chip export restrictions. ASM, another semiconductor-related company, reported Q1 2025 net bookings of $4.48 billion, compared to net bookings of $8.1 billion in Q4 of 2024. Now, net bookings are basically customer contracts that have been signed that basically state that a company plans to receive revenue from sales to particular companies in the future. That contract has been signed, the products have yet to be delivered, but there is that expectation of that revenue stream in the future. Tesla's stock sank 4.96% last Wednesday after its share of California electrical vehicle sales fell below 50% in Q1 of 2025 for the very first time, which signals that the electric vehicle landscape is becoming more competitive, with even a lot of these major car brands like Ford and Hyundai and Honda coming out with their electrical vehicle models and chipping away at Tesla's competitive advantage in the space. So anyway, Charlie, thank you for listening to my little spiel about technology stocks, and I hope you learned something interesting about Nvidia or Tesla. And before I go, I would like to show you this poll as it appears on LinkedIn, just to prove that I'm not making this distribution up. Here is the poll as it appears on LinkedIn. As you can see, it got 71 votes. The most popular answer choice, though not an absolute majority, was Microsoft as the technology stock you'd rather invest in right now. It got 38% of the votes. So anyway, Charlie, thank you so much for listening to my little spiel about tech stocks. Stay tuned tomorrow for my 98th video poll analysis. We are so close to reaching that 100-day mark, and I cannot be any happier to keep going with this experiment and to keep talking to you, Charlie, about these interesting poll topics, or at least I hope they're interesting, that I've been posting on LinkedIn for quite a while now. So anyway, Charlie, thank you for listening, and see you tomorrow.